Singalila National Park decks up in colored blooms during the months of April and May, and different species of rhododendron adds more grandeur to its serene beauty. Moreover, you can see the magnificent views of the third highest mountain in the world, Kanchenjunga. And right at this moment, Team Terra Nova set out for a less known route, Phokteydara-Singalila bus trip. To undertake a journey from Kolkata to North Bengal means starting at Shialdah. Heavy rain shower welcomed us as soon as we reached New Jalpaiguri Junction railway station at 3 am, and the rain continued from midnight till dawn. Finally, when the rain stopped, we began our journey via Jorthang towards our first destination, Uttarey. The 3 hours long drive from Jorthang to Uttarey was exceptionally enjoyable, and the beauty around was pristine. Uttarey is exceptionally beautiful. The small village close to the Nepal border in West Sikkim can be a perfect holiday destination to spend a weekend. After dinner, it was time for briefing. Situated at an altitude of 12,245 feet, the Phokteydara trek is popular for the hilltop viewpoint, the appealing beauty of the scenic Sikkim, high Nepal ranges, and an extensive immaculate jungle trail. Usually the trek goes like this. After arriving at Uttarey, the first day trek is to Ashle, then to Kalija, and the next day is the day to cross the Singalila Pass that connects West Sikkim and West Bengal, and then to reach Phalut, and then from Phalut to Gorkhe. But since it was a client-customized trek and they were planning to do it in a much shorter time, the discussion went longer than average. The distance was way too lengthy for the first day. Moreover, the weather forecast wasn't very good. So trek leader Anupam Chatterjee, assistant trek leader Chirang Konda, and guide Arjun Bhai enlightened us about the challenges we might face during the trek and how to overcome them. After a heavy discussion, then it was time for a little entertainment, and music lightened up everybody's mood. Uttarey was indeed a very beautiful village, and so was the resort we stayed in, the Nag Valley Retreat. Terra Nova Adventure always looks after the comfort of the trekkers and always tries to provide the best accommodation. Not just this property. If you watch all of our adventure films featuring the treks and expeditions undertaken by Terra Nova, evidently you will see the best accommodations provided by Terra Nova even at such altitudes. To witness the pristine beauty, magnificent ranges, and exceptional adventures decked with information, you must watch all of our adventure films. We walk on the hard rails to bring such magical works for you, and sharing these works with friends will encourage us to walk further and climb further. So don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Keep sharing. Next morning, after breakfast and getting a packed lunch, 25 to 26 members of Team Terra Nova, including the trekkers and supporting staff, we set out toward our destination, Phokteydara Phalut Trek. Just leaving a few moments behind at the start, the rest of the first day trek was entirely through the Bursey Rhododendron Sanctuary. Through the dense canopy of the forest, age-old trunks with clinging ferns, growing mosses and lichens. Rhododendron trees or scrubs and giant magnolias blossom, rich ground flora and clouds hovering around you gave it a somewhat mystical charm. This particular trek route is sometimes considered by a few as a beginner's trek, but one must prepare thoroughly before undertaking any trek, whether in terms of physical or mental preparation or regarding the proper trek gears. Carrying the appropriate trek gears can change the entire trek experience. And to get the best trek gears in an affordable range, you must visit Wild Style, the sole destination for budget-friendly quality products. As per our client's customization, our first campsite was supposed to be at Kalijhar, a trek of 16 kilometers. However, the entire trail of the first day trek was a steep ascent, and the weather was also not in our favor. So, to cover up a distance like that in such a weather condition was absolutely impossible. At this time of the year, the forest trails of the Phokteydara trek route gorgeously decks up with vibrant rhododendrons. Yet heavy rainfall of the last few days had covered much of our trail with red blooms than what was left on the trees. At last, at around 5 o'clock, we reached our first campsite, Thulodha. The weather had already taken a change for the worse by then. It is solely due to the efficiency of Terra Nova's support crew that we were welcomed at campsite with a hot meal and tents prepared. The next day, we opened our eyes to a pleasing dawn, and for the first time, the true beauty and the serenity of our first campsite emerged in front of us. As we always mention, Terra Nova places its campsites in locations that are not only beautiful but also unique in certain ways, a glimpse of which you can easily relish on our Facebook and Instagram photo albums. So don't forget to visit them. No matter how much beautiful our first campsite was, we didn't have much time for relaxation, as we had a long walk to undertake. It was the most vital day of the trek after all. We were supposed to trek via Kalijor to Phokteydara top, then cross the Singalila Pass and reach Phalut top on the same day. If the first day of the trek was a thriller, then we were supposed to reach the climax that day. The Singalila Pass Phokteydara trek not only connects Sikkim and West Bengal, but it's also a borderline trek that swings between India and Nepal multiple times. It's altogether a different experience to trek on this ridge line which divides different states in India and Nepal. As we proceeded to cross the pass, nature surprised us with heavy snowfall. While trekking in other regions at certain times, we eagerly wait for the snowfall. But here it was not at all anticipated, because by the end of April at such an altitude, a snow blizzard was absolutely unimaginable. Then amid such weather, it was time to descend from Phokteydara top and Singalila Pass. The descent from a pass is always challenging, and it was no different this time. And it's not the descent that remained. We still had steep ascent to cover to reach our destination, Phalut, that day. So it was indeed a very long hike with sudden surprises from the weather. Leaving behind all the tiredness of the bygone days, we eagerly set out to reach and enjoy the view from the much awaited Phalut top. And the real temptation and reward of this trek is the glamorous view of Mount Makalu, Mount Nuptse, Mount Everest and Mount Lhotse, and on the eastern side, the view of Kanchenjunga, the third highest mountain in the world along with Sleeping Buddha, is impossible to resist for any mountain lovers. Yet, we couldn't start much earlier that day, as the famous, or you can say the notorious wind blew at Phalut top, coupled with a drizzle and frequent snowfall, made it difficult, if not somewhat impossible, to move. Then it was time to come down to Gorkhe. The entire route to reach Gorkhe was tremendously beautiful and mostly descents in nature. Moreover, the presence of all-encompassing rhododendrons and the dense forest made it even more pleasurable to walk on. We started our trek towards Gorkhe at around 9:30 in the morning and reached by 2:30. Gorkhe is a beautiful small village, and our homestay was cozy and charming. But the real charm was of the people attending us. Their hospitality, kindness, warm and cheerful company, and mostly their promptness and eagerness to make our stay more comfortable and memorable completely won us over. The next morning, we were amazed to explore the uncorrupted beauty of Gorkhe. The pristine little village Gorkhe, surrounded by thick pine forests and the small river flowing through, known as Gorkhe Khola, is the home of 30 families who are entirely dependent on farm produce. Completely inaccessible by any vehicle as there are no motorable roads, the village is at the heart of the route that offers the most picturesque view of four of the five highest peaks of the world, including the majestic Mount Everest, Makalu, Kanchenjunga, and Lhotse. Exploring Gorkhe, we ventured to another hidden gem, untouched by the modern world, Samanden, a beautiful scenic hamlet in the remote part of Darjeeling district. Much like Gorkhe, only a few Sherpa families are residing in Samanden, and they are mostly dependent on agriculture. Mostly known as the Silent Valley, Samanden is covered with farmland and pretty little houses. However, very fertile for potatoes, peas, beans, corn, and etc., which are transported by the horses and mule to some nearby villages. Due to the increase in the number of the trekkers, some people of the village have come up with an idea of running the homestays. It is a suitable place to stay amidst nature, surrounded by the beautiful forest and very friendly people. A pleasant stay at Gorkhe and exploring Samanden, it was finally time to say goodbye to the mountains and come back to our familiar routes. Since Gorkhe is completely inaccessible by any vehicle, we had a last 40 minutes trek to Wareng, where our car was waiting to drop us at New Jalpaiguri.